Hi, welcome to this episode of Your Black World News. I'm your host, Roosevelt Mitchell III. Today I'm joined by Miss Candace Cox, who is the CEO of A&A Inspirations and a mental health expert. How's it going today, Candace?
It's going awesome. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I want to speak with you about Officer Daniel Holdsclaw, the former Oklahoma City police officer who was found guilty on 18 of 36 charges, I believe, of raping and sodomizing and stalking the 13 black women. And I wanted to get your thoughts about it and how mainstream media has been seen to ignore it.
Well, I think that one of the biggest things is this. This has poked a very big hole in the thread of society, basically showing that we have been taught for years that, if there's something wrong, we go and we talk to a police officer, that they're the ones that's going to save us and that we'll be heard and we'll be protected. This case within itself shows that that's not true in any way, form, or fashion, that the police officer is always seen to be not guilty until something, and basically until they're proven guilty. Unlike the victims, they were all made out to be guilty because of the backgrounds that they have been through and because of the trauma that they have been through and experienced. I think that that's just absolutely crazy. It really does change the way that we look at law enforcement, basically as a whole. I know it does for me as a black woman.
Yes, certainly, because he preyed on specific women who were damaged, who maybe had mental illnesses or what have you. He knew that certain women with certain backgrounds would not be taken seriously or believed over his story. So I don't know if you got a chance to see the footage from him in the courtroom after he was found guilty, and he started crying. Did you get a chance to see that?
I did. I saw that, and that was a normal response. At this point in time, my life is over. I think that a lot of times people that are in positions of power, they sometimes forget that they are not above the law. And I am happy that at this point, in this circumstance, that this person was held accountable for what they have done. And yeah, he has a long road ahead of him. But, just the way that he has these years that he is going to be in jail and he has to go through reform, these women are constantly trying to heal from the things that not only he did to them, but to the things that they were dealing with before he even came into the picture. So I look at it as to, look at his victims. You can never take away the stamp that he placed on each and every last one of those victims. He actually embedded himself into their minds forever.
Yes, because that is very traumatic. How one woman explained how he arrested her and took her to a hospital and violated her and handcuffed her to the bed and all these horrific things. And I made a video a few days ago actually about this where I am calling out black men. Like, I've seen so many black men disrespect black women over the past 2 weeks just for questioning another black man, right? I mean, that makes no sense to me for a black man to disrespect a black woman over a black man. You know what I'm saying? So that made no sense to me. But while these guys are focusing that negative attention towards black women, people like this police officer and the races of the world are taking advantage of our black women. So black women need us black men to protect them. So I just called out the question, Candace, where are you black men at now when things like this are happening? Right? So we have no time and no energy to have no negativity towards a black woman when we are put here to protect them. So with that being said, Officer Holtzclaw, it seemed as if he said or mumbled when he was walking towards the bench to the jury, "How could you all do this to me?" Right? So, I mean, what type of illness is that? you know, you know.
Well, I'm happy for the sense evaluation with this service. I feel that, he honestly did not feel that what he did was bad enough for him to have to lose the rest of his life of freedom. And, in regard to the black man, I have to be honest with you. Trauma is embedded within our DNA. You have to think about way back in the slavery, where we had black men who were, beaten and their women were raped and their children were taken and snatched and they were forced to watch this happen. And you have these women that are watching these men as they are watching this happen to them. So that this mentality has been instilled into the black woman where we feel and often that we are alone, or we feel that we have to take care of the black man because the black man has been beaten down so much and he's not seen as being, the head of the household, which in actuality he has every capability plus some to do that. I think that a lot of building needs to come back in regard to training up our black men and understanding what their role is in our lives and understanding what their role is, period, for themselves. And helping them understand that, we need to do this together. This is an us, we, ours together type of situation. Where if we want to make sure that we are respected, we have to first start with respecting ourselves. And that is something that needs to be taught. We've been disrespecting women for so long that it seems that it's okay. Every time you turn on a commercial, you turn on a video, you listen to a song, you have everybody disrespecting the black woman. It's not just the black man, not just the white man. The black woman is disrespecting the black woman. So, we have to make sure that we are being the change that we want to see. The system is broken. It is completely broken. And there is so much trauma there. But somewhere down the line, we as black people have to pull ourselves up and say, you know what? This isn't what we want. This isn't okay. And we have to start fighting for ourselves so that we can get what we demand.
Yeah, and I understand everything that you were saying, but even as a black man, even if a black woman is disrespecting herself, okay, I go to many universities and I speak and I ask young brothers, hey man, why do you call women thoughts? Thoughts, the acronym THOT for that means that hoe over there. I said, why you call girl thoughts? Oh, not every girl's a thought, Dr. Mitchell. Just the ones I know. What Negro, get some new numbers then. How can you call a black woman a thought when your mom is black, your grandmother is black, your sister's black? If you have a daughter, she's black, right? So this whole confusing theory of disrespecting black women because she's not any kin to you, but then praising your mom or I really love my mom and stuff like that, it just doesn't add up and make sense. And you're right, we have to, as black men, I'm putting it on us, we have to come together and not only protect black women, but protect our communities. Because this white officer was targeting black women in black communities, right? So I'm pretty sure the word got around that this officer, he was on that BS, right? Like he doing all this, to these black women. So, I just think if black men would take it to the street and shoot other black men, trying to protect the block that they do not own, then what about, protecting our black women? Don't let no white police officer come in and violate our women like this. And one lady, she was a grandmother. That really broke my heart.
I think that one of the biggest things, and this is kind of going back, and I feel everything that you're saying. I think it kind of goes back. I had a client. I see a lot of clients of, you have the males and they are in single female homes. So mama is raising them. I asked a young black male, he's 12 years old, I said, what can your mother teach you, or what has your mother taught you about being a man? And he said, my mother can't teach me anything about being a man because she hates me. And that means that somewhere down in her, she hates me too. That broke my heart. But then I had to think about it. A part of that is true because she was a fatherless child and she never got the love that she was supposed to get. She never had the understanding of how she was supposed to be respected by a man. She just kind of figured it out on her own. She got into all of these relationships with these broken men that had no idea of how to love themselves, so they couldn't love her. And then she had young men, and she's raising these young men up based on the mindset that she have that men ain't nothing. So it's like you have broken women raising broken men, and broken men invested in broken women, and it's just a whole just cycle. I do say that the black man does have to step up. I do believe that, but I feel like the black man not going to be able to do it on their own. I do. I believe that we have to do this together as a whole, and I feel that we have to look at each other and say, okay, me as a black woman, how can I help support you and build you up, black man? And you as a black man saying, okay, black woman, how can I help and support you? So that we can come together and we can support these babies that are coming in, and we can help them understand that what they see around them and what's been taught around them is not okay. Because we've become complacent and we complain about it, but honestly, on a large scale, nothing's being done about it.
Exactly. So how can we come together as bruised and scarred and battered mentally mental people, right? You know, like you said, you know, mentally scarred or been through traumatic experiences. So how can we get past that and come together, black men and black women, in order to build people up? I think because I think that's the issue, right?
Right. I came up with, in my practice, I use two skills. One is called Get Raw. The Raw stands for realize, admit, and work through. We have to realize the barriers that we have, and we have to admit our role in them, and we have to work through those barriers so that we can be mentally well. We put so much emphasis on physical, but we have to put that emphasis on mental as well. If your mind is not right, your body cannot be right as well, and that's being true. And the second skill is break free. The free is forgive, release, embrace, and elevate. You have to forgive yourself and those who have wronged you. And we have to do that. We can't keep holding on. We have to release. We got to release ourselves from those patterns and those stories and those, it didn't happen for this person, so it's not going to happen for me. It's all present. And we have to start embracing what's real, embracing, the lessons and the experiences that we have had and building on those things and elevate. We got to start moving forward. We can't keep talking about the same things and being about the same things and expecting something different. We are going to have to actually feel the pain and do the work.
Well, I thank you so much for your time, and I pray that this is the last officer who does this or who's able to do this to our black women or to any woman, right? But okay, moving forward, Candace, moving forward, what do you think that these or how do you think these ladies can heal?
I do think that they are going to need extensive counseling, and I think the counseling is going to go way beyond this incident that happened with them with this officer. It said in the articles that I've read and in the things that I've watched that a lot of these women were scarred tremendously before they got to him or before he got to them. So I do think that these women are going to have to go through individual counseling, possibly group counseling. Learning how to love themselves and learning that this isn't their fault and learning how to no longer be victims of their own or other people's poor choices. They have to be empowered.
Well, I thank you so much for your time, and I really hope you all enjoyed this segment of Your Black World News. And until next time, my friends, be blessed and be encouraged.